Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our Tuesday night live stream, the first of many to get you ready for your fantasy football drafts here in the month of August. Look at this. Joey's all dressed up. Joey, you're wearing a collared shirt. What are you doing, man?
No. I don't know. Should I go change? I was told that I have to wear something nice. Heath told me that earlier today, so maybe he was trying to set me up.
I think so. Well, that's Jamie is definitely not dressed up.
No.
He's here. Tera Roberts is here. What's up, Tera? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Doing very well. Thank you. All right. So if you don't know, you should probably all know Tera. She's been on many of our live streams. Joey, you might not know. You might, but hopefully you do from Front Yard Fantasy. He's also a Football Guys contributor. Tera contributes to like everyone, including CBSSports.com. You can follow them at the Joey Wright and at It's Tera Time. We have a mock draft going on right now. Schaefer, when you're ready, let's throw up that draft board. We had an auto pick. Is that right? Oh, Jamie auto picked.
Yeah, I got locked out.
All right. You keep an Eckler or you want to back it out?
Yeah, back it up, please.
All right, we'll back it out.
Just give me Chase.
And all right, but you sure it's half PPR, just so you know.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. I know the format.
All right, he's going to take Jamar Chase. So we've got this draft going on right now, and it is a 12-team half PPR mock draft. And we got 4 YouTubers, 4 viewers that joined the show. Actually, 5 if you include Joey from this morning. And let's take a look at the draft board. Tera, I'll give you we got a couple of surprises right at the top. After McCaffrey 1, 3 surprises. Mahomes 2, Bijan 3. Before the wide receivers come off the board, it's half PPR, so maybe people go in running back instead of receiver, but Mahomes is there. What do you think of those first 3 picks, McCaffrey, Mahomes, Bijan?
Yeah, even though it's half PPR, I still lean wide receivers, especially with 2 flex spots in this formatting. So Joey got a steal there, for sure.
Joey with Jefferson. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so would you have taken any of those other 3 ahead of Jefferson if they had been on the board?
No, I mean, I might have given a thought to McCaffrey being half PPR, but I was going to go Jefferson at number 1, and I was hoping to get Cooper Kupp, honestly, at 4. Somebody's going to slip to me, but I'm happy with Jefferson.
Okay. Jamie, what do you think about Bijan? 3rd overall, pretty great pick by a genius.
Yeah, it's not bad. I wouldn't have done it, but, I mean, you have some terrible drafts, so this is probably just on par with what will normally happen, and then you'll brag about it. You know what he did today? We were in the middle of a draft today, and I'm sorry, it sounds like there's an echo, but
you're good.
We're in the middle of a draft today, and Adam is complimenting himself on his strategy in the middle of the draft. Like, not even like, hey, here's my picks. What do you guys think? He was like, check out how awesome my team is, and look at this new strategy I started. Very, very ingenuitive by him, by the way, to take players on good teams. That was his strategy.
Yeah, nothing but good offenses there. We're coming up with a name for the strategy. Anyway, now the wide receivers come off the board. Jefferson, Chase, Tyreek Hill. No Cooper Kupp as of right now, as we are. I know he was taken. Actually, we have Eckler 7 and Cooper Kupp 8. You'll see that get updated there. Dave Richard taking Cooper Kupp 8th overall. We welcome you to the live stream, everybody. 161 people watching right now. Please hit that like button. We'd appreciate it. We're going to get a lot more people here as the night goes on. 45 seconds on the clock in between picks, and Travis Kelce was taken after Cooper Kupp at 9 overall. It's 1 quarterback, it's 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, and 2 flex. So you can start up to 4 running backs, up to 4 wide receivers, up to 3 tight ends if you want to be so daring. Joey, tell us about yourself, for those people who may not know you.
Yeah, I work with Front Yard Fantasy and with Football Guys, and I live in Orlando, Florida. Dad, 2 little girls. But with Front Yard Fantasy, we have the 3 o'clock game show every day. I know Heath was on with us earlier today and beat the snot out of Simon and I until Simon pulled out a win in the end. Tara's been on with us before. I know Jamie and Adam, we want to get you guys on. We're trying to figure out a special way to bring you guys on. But yeah, we have a blast over there with the game show. And then I have a series that I started called Start, Sits, and Salutations, where I go out into nature and give fantasy football advice and talk to animals. So it is quite a bit of fun. Last year, I invaded the expo and talked to actual people. So yeah, we have a lot of fun over there. And Football Guys, I have another article coming out next week. So I'm just having lots of fun.
All right, good stuff. Tara, tell us about yourself real quick.
I am on the clock, but we'll go.
That's even more interesting. You took Stephon Diggs in round 1. All right, what are you thinking right now?
I am
It's good. It's good to know that
100% okay with
it's good to know that the tradition continues that Adam asks you questions exactly when you're about to pick every time you're on with us.
I am going to go ahead and go with Jonathan Taylor. It's not my favorite pick in the world to go with, but my gut's telling me that all this drama is going to get worked out. There is no logical reason for the Colts to go the entire season without Jonathan Taylor. So you're getting a little bit of a discount there, being able to take him in round 2. So for fantasy managers, go ahead and take advantage of that little bit of dip that we're getting right here now.
All right. So Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Adams. Jamie, when you see round 1, does anything jump out at you?
I mean, obviously Mahomes, in a 1 quarterback league, I wouldn't have done that. I was going to ask, Joey, just based on what he said about Kupp at 4. So where are you, Joey, on Kupp? And was it you expecting Jefferson and Chase to be gone? Is he either your third receiver? Is he your fourth receiver? How do you expect the draft to unfold?
Kupp is my second receiver. I mean, he averaged last year, he was the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy points per game. And I think he can repeat that pretty easily if Matthew Stafford's healthy. So he's second for me. Jefferson's first. So, but I've seen Kupp slip to 4 or 5. So I was hoping he would slip to me at 4. But I'll take Jefferson.
Yeah, no, I get that. I was just because when you said 4, it kind of stood out to me that, a lot of people put him in some cases as the 4th receiver. So I didn't know if you were expecting him to go, after Chase and maybe after Tyreek Hill, because I think that's how Heath has it ranked. I have Kupp 3rd personally behind Chase. And the other question I had for you is, since you live in Orlando, do you go to the theme parks a lot, being Disney? And if you go to Disney, do you go on the Tron ride? And if you go on the Tron ride, you complain about it because Adam complains about the Tron
I didn't complain about it. I was just giving people a warning that you should wear an athletic cup if you go on Tron. It is extremely uncomfortable. And I'm not the only one who says this, okay? Many people are saying it. So have you been on Tron, Joey?
I have not. We were annual pass holders up until the pandemic, and then we never renewed our passes afterwards. But yeah, we did a lot of time. We stood on there's like a kiddie roller coaster right next to Tron, and we watched for a whole year while they were building it. And then and I'm on the clock. And the pandemic happened right as they were opening it. So I've yet to go though.
All right, let's get into Joey's mindset here. Jamie took Jalen Waddle to go with Jamar Chase. So that's 3 running backs in a row there, Jamie. Were you going to go with a running back if Pollard, Henry, or Jacobs had fallen?
I would have gone with Pollard. I would have not gone with Jacobs, and I would have been on the fence with Henry, but I probably would have taken receiver.
All right, here you go, St. Brown. So when I see your team's 2 wide receivers with your first 2 picks, Joey, you could comment first. Do you basically treat half PPR as PPR?
I do. I adjust a little bit for it. Like if Nick Chubb, I would have loved for him to have fallen to middle of the 2nd round or closer to where I was picking. Didn't think it was going to happen. He keeps going closer and closer to that end of the 1st round. But I love St. Brown this year. I think he's going to have a ton of work there in Detroit. And so it wasn't a hard pick for me at all.
And Jamie, no concern or any concern about not having a running back in rounds 1 or 2? Like
no, not at all. I think, this
I'm on the clock. Damn it.
I thought we were going to get you to auto pick. This is, I think, as we've talked about, the running back value where we typically see the dead zone guys. This is, I think, going to be a little bit of a different year where those guys that you'll be able to get in rounds 3, 4, and 5 should be very successful. At least that's the hope. It doesn't feel as if there's the same type of concerns with some of those guys that should be available. So I think getting 2 high-end receivers is a smart move. I don't think there's a bad scenario of like what Tera did, taking, Jonathan Taylor, for example, Tony Pollard. I see there's one manager that went running back, probably Dave. But, to go that route as well. Wasn't it?
Roland, one of our viewers.
But, it's not bad when you're talking about those 2 running backs of Beckler and Henry. I just think that the top 10, 11 receivers are so good and have so much potential, especially in any PPR format. It's hard to pass them up.
Oh, man. Look, maybe I'm going to be wrong about Devontae Smith, right? But Jalen Waddle, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, and then Devontae Smith. Most people consider Devontae Smith a tier down. So I wonder how Gary feels. Gary, if you're in the chat, you can let us know. But, you could have had Josh Allen. In fact, in this draft, you probably could have had Mahomes in round 2, just the way we draft. But let's just say it could have been Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts with Justin Jefferson. I have a feeling you would much prefer that to Mahomes and Devontae Smith. But Gary, let us know if you're there in the chat. So, Tara, how do you where do you see a tier separation, even if it's not within a specific position? But as you look at round 2, did we get past the total studs that feel like maybe first round? Any of them could be a first rounder. I don't know. Do you see any delineation here in terms of talent, value, studliness?
Yeah, I mean, kind of when I'm looking at the second round, the cutoff point for me, I think, is maybe right before Tony Pollard. AJ Brown, Devontae Adams are guys that I can all make for an argument there at the turn with the 12th and 13th pick. But outside of that, I think everyone else is pretty solidified in that second round. I think, the tiers are kind of really shaking themselves out to where those first round guys are guys that you're feeling pretty comfortable with. And when you get into the second round, the wide receivers are kind of dipping down into those guys that kind of have those secondary roles on their team. So you're getting Jalen Waddles, Devonta Smiths. And with the running backs, again, I don't mind the strategy of, I thought about it, going with Devontae Adams and doubling up there with Stephon Diggs and Devontae Adams because, again, when you're looking at these running backs, it's really not that difficult because of the way that they're being pushed down with early wide receivers to make sure that you're getting two steady, stable running backs in these kind of middle early rounds. So, yeah, it's kind of a mid break right there with AJ Brown, but I don't think it's too dramatic.
Okay. I think I'm killing this draft. I just got to say, like, I have had the easiest picks to make. Bijan, half PPR, I'll take over Eckler and McCaffrey. I take him over both. How about that? Half PPR, I think Bijan Robinson is my number one player. I think I just found that out. Wow, I did some soul searching on the air.
This is Adam. Hey, thanks.
Garrett Wilson to me was the end of a tier at wide receiver, and then I just, Josh Allen, he's a round 2 pick, I think. All right, so Jahmyr Gibbs to Joey, or Ramondre Stevenson to Jamie. You guys feel good about that? 2 wide receivers, then you get those guys in round 3. Joey?
I'm pumped. I was debating between Gibbs and Stevenson, and I'm just maybe a little bit worried Fournette might end up in New England and mess that whole Stevenson situation up. And history tells me New England running backs, like, I'm starting to want to trust, but then that's when they get me. So I went Gibbs. I want parts of this Detroit Lions offense. I think I might have shown my hand a little bit by my second round pick.
There you go. Back to NFC North. I like it. All right, we got Stevenson, Jalen Hurts, Calvin Ridley, T. Higgins. Jamie, Ridley over Higgins? We don't usually see that. Your thoughts?
No, we don't. But the hype is real. I think people are getting excited about Calvin Ridley. The quarterback that he's attached to, and Trevor Lawrence looks like he's going to have a breakout season. So if Ridley is anything close to what he was, there's a lot of potential there. I still would lean Higgins, but they're almost back to back for me in my rankings. I love the setup for him. So if you're concerned about Joe Burrow's calf and you're going to downgrade him, and you might want to consider maybe downgrading Chase and Higgins as well. And so if you are buying into the Ridley hype, then this is the spot for him. Again, a little bit too soon for me, but I don't hate it.
Read a few comments here. Broward Bravado is Gary. He said, I don't know why I took Mahomes first. I'm used to only 4 point per passing touchdown. So the ranking that CBS, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, CBS in the projections, I mean, he's going to score the most points, and it is a 6 point per passing touchdown league. Let's see. How about that guy at the bottom is so handsome, way better hair than Azer. Yeah, that's actually true. Joey has me beat there.
I got a haircut yesterday, not knowing I was going to be here, but I was I'm pretty excited that I decided to get that haircut.
And there was one more I wanted to. Oh, it was a question. Jamie, would you have taken Jahmyr Gibbs if he had been available over Ramondre Stevenson?
I would not. Not that I don't like him, and I believe that is my running back rankings. I might have somebody else at 10. I think it's Stevenson and then Gibbs, back to back. But I would have taken Jalen Hurts was still on the board, so I would have gone. I was looking at either Stevenson or Hurts when Joey was on the clock.
All right, Tara, you've made a couple of picks here. Let's take a look at Tara's team. 3 wide receivers and Jonathan Taylor, Diggs, Taylor, Keenan Allen, Christian Watson. What do you think? You like it?
I love it, personally. Getting Jonathan Taylor allows me to go with, a hero running back, invest in wide receiver. I thought about tight end right there, thinking about TJ Hawkinson, but then opted with going with Christian Watson. He is one of my favorite guys that I'm taking a ton of in drafts, just because when I look at him and the potential connection there with Jordan Love, he's a wide receiver too that has legitimate top 5 upside. It could be a little bit boom bust. You can acknowledge that there might be a little bit unsteadiness in the targets there, but I'm a little bit higher on some of these Packers wide receivers than a lot of other people. It's not the camp hype that I'm buying into, because literally everything coming out of training camp is glowingly positive about Jordan Love and Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed. But honestly, I really do think that the value that you're getting for those Packers wide receivers and the potential upside is worth the draft pick.
All right, what do you guys think? We'll get into round 4 in a minute here. What do you think about 4 quarterbacks going in round 3? Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, I'm sure you're not going to have any issue with that. But, Jamie, what about Burrow and Lamar Jackson? And there was a question here from Marcus. Joe Burrow's strained calf doesn't scare anyone. Those tend to linger. But him and Jackson going in round 4.
I think, again, we're going to see quarterbacks get pushed up. I'm actually going to take one right here in Justin Fields. I just think that when you start to see the top, I think 7 guys, with the last one most likely being Herbert, but Fields could be that 7th guy also. There's a big difference. Once that, you talk about delineation of talent, I think that's where the drop off starts. You can buy into the upside of Anthony Richardson. You could say if Tua stays healthy. You could say if Deshaun Watson bounces back. There's just a lot of question marks. So I look at what Fields should be able to do. Obviously Lamar Jackson. Those guys are difference makers with their legs. It's a plus if you can get them at the right price on your team. And I think for me at least, I'm okay with Burrow and Jackson a little bit later. Probably Fields a little bit later as well. But again, I think we're just going to see quarterbacks get pushed up a little bit. Maybe not to the level of Mahomes at 2, but we know the ADP for NFC has Mahomes at 12. So people are already buying into the early quarterback hype.
All right, we've got 1 quarterback in round 4, and the rest are running backs and wide receivers. We'll see if T.J. Hawkinson or another tight end comes off the board soon. Cooper to Joey, DK Metcalf to me. Remember, everybody, we're going to have a Tuesday night live stream every week, and here it goes, Hopkins off the board. So Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern, put it on your calendar. We'll be doing different types of mock drafts. This one's half PPR. I'm assuming we'll have Superflex. I don't know, Jamie, we'll have Superflex, we'll have non-PPR, we'll have PPR, everything.
We'll have a bunch, yep.
Yeah, all right. Breece Hall. I saw Heath tweeting earlier that he's probably going to put Javonte Williams ahead of Breece Hall because physically Javonte Williams is ahead of Breece Hall right now. And then you've got that whole Dalvin Cook thing. Joey, was this too soon for Breece Hall?
Let me see. There's a few running backs I like that I feel a little more safe with right now. So I probably wouldn't have taken Breece Hall at this point. Now, if he's on the field and he's healthy, that's one of the steals of the draft. Just for me, it's probably a little too early at this point.
Got to have some look at this comment here. Dave is really crushing this draft.
That guy's really nice.
Dave is fun. I wonder if Dave wishes he were on the stream tonight. I'm feeling like Dave has a little bit of FOMO right now. Oh, I guess
I asked him, and he's like, "No, definitely not coming on." I was like, "Cool, thanks, Dave."
Well, that's because I didn't let him. That's because I didn't let him come on. Like, don't kid yourself here. Is that pick in? Okay, Tyler Lockett is the pick there. All right, I'm on the clock with Josh Allen, Bijan Robinson, DK Metcalf, and Garrett Wilson. I think I like the running backs better here. Is Madison still there? He is. Dobbins. I'm going to go, some good players here. I'm going to go with oh, boy.
Well, this is fun.
Oh, you guys are going to criticize me for this one.
I'm just hoping I don't get sniped.
I'll take Madison. It's fine. All right, Joey, who you going with
here? I
here?
want to see what this injury is. What happened to him?
Oh, I think he's fine, right? I mean, it didn't seem like it was serious. But leave my team alone.
No, I don't care about your team.
All right, what are you thinking here, Joey? 3 receivers and Jahmyr Gibbs.
I took Hawkinson. There's a lot of running backs towards that. I guess we could have been calling it the running back dead zone that used to be dead. I don't think it's very dead. So I'm actually okay waiting on running back a little bit longer. Hawkinson, I've been high on off this offseason. Jordan Addison come in, kind of dilutes a little bit for me. But I still think, he's top 15 last year in red zone targets. I think he can easily make that happen again. So I'm happy getting Hawkinson. I think he was the 3rd tight end off the board. Yeah, I'm happy with Hawkinson there.
I was really thinking about Ken Walker there because I don't think he's going to make it back to me in round 6. Maybe the injury he will. But I'm starting to feel him a little bit because, I mean, Charbonnet missing training camp is not a good thing for a rookie. I don't know. Jamie, would you have made fun of me if I had taken Ken Walker there?
No, I'd make fun of you for a lot of other things, but
Yeah.
I I mean, look, you're right. If Walker is healthy and Charbonnet is not, all the concerns about Walker, for the most part, go away. Just because if he gets off to an early start, a head start, there's a chance he could run away with the job. Now, again, I think Charbonnet's going to have a role. I think there's definitely an opportunity. Even maybe McIntosh could have a role, which could make this a frustrating scenario for all the Seattle running backs. But he was awesome last year, and it just sucked to see the Seahawks make the investment in another second-round pick to take Charbonnet. But as I've been saying, why did they do that? What did they not like about Ken Walker's performance? His not taking what was available to him, always looking for the home run. The things that we hear, not good in the passing game. The potential struggles. So they and just maybe the overall infatuation with what Charbonnet could do. So I just still have my reservations, but the longer Charbonnet stays out, the better it is for Walker, clearly.
Yeah. And obviously, let's get Walker back out there too, please. Okay, so Tera's on the clock. I stopped the draft so we can let Tera talk it out here. Tera has Diggs, Taylor, Keenan Allen, and Christian Watson. She's going to have 2 of the next 4 picks. So, Tera, go ahead. Take us through your next 2 picks.
I really wanted Justin Herbert there to create the stack with Keenan Allen just because I love the potential upside within that offense. But I am going to go ahead and go quarterback here because the cutoff that I really have is Trevor Lawrence. And that's where I think you see a tier jump or a tier gap between the next guys like Deshaun Watson and then looking at Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, and all of that. So I want to go ahead and grab him. The quarterbacks went a little bit higher than I would have liked here, but I've, solidified the 3 wide receivers. And then when I'm looking at the next pick, I don't want to tip my hat here to Chris, but well, we'll go ahead.
Yeah, what are you doing, Adam?
Yeah.
Making her talk through it.
That's okay. I've got
Tara, what are you going to do with your next 5 picks? Can you tell us?
He took
Actually,
Mike Williams to Ken Walker. You're good.
It's
You're
perfect. Good. He took a receiver and a running back, so he left me 2 options. And I'm going running back. It's for me. I'm going with. I'm gonna go with. Gosh, it's a tough one between James Conner and Cam Akers, but I'm gonna lean towards going with Cam Akers. Again, when I'm looking at Cam Akers, it might feel like a risky pick for some people, but the Rams have been very firm in their commitment to Cam Akers as their RB1. And when we had Sony Michel retire, things got a little bit shaky there. You could have thought that maybe they were going to go outside one of these free agents. They didn't. They got another retread running back to kind of fill in with depth. So, that happening right there tells me that they really are committed to making Akers this elite running back that they were always trying to. So, pass catching upside, I wish he had a little bit more, but overall, he's one of those players who I feel like is within the dead zone that has legitimate upside to finish as, a mid to low end RB1. So for where you're drafting it at, he has legitimate league winning potential. So I like Cam Akers. I like hitting these kind of mid-round running backs because you got a few options there. James Conner went after. That was the other one that I was debating there.
Yeah, and Javonte Williams. Joey's going to be up soon, and
well, Tara, I just want to say something because I think you committed an error that also happened in one of our drafts earlier today, because you took the quarterback on the first part of the swing.
Oh yeah.
When the manager after you had the quarterback already, so you left yourself in a position where you might have lost really the player that you wanted coming back. So I think anybody picks on that, just always want to take a look and see what they have there.
Joey, if I don't know, okay, well, there goes David Montgomery. Heath took him. But I don't know how you feel about Montgomery, if you would take him in the 6th round. But does having Jahmyr Gibbs take Montgomery off your draft board, basically?
That's a great question. I don't know if it takes him off my draft board. I'm not going to reach for him just because I have Gibbs. I'd be fine if he landed on my team and the value was right. I think at the 6th round, that's great value. And I'm on the clock, and my guy, I got sniped. Jamie, what the heck? I'm the guest.
Yeah,
let's go.
I can back it out if you want.
No, it's all right.
That was a really brutal running back run for me. That sucked.
Yeah, I thought one of those was going to make it back to me. So I'm eating my words that I said a little bit ago. That's all right.
All right, Ayuk. All right, I'll debate Ayuk a little bit with you here. Although it's pretty much at the point of the draft. My basic theory is that he's a bad fit for Brock Purdy because Brock Purdy can't throw the ball downfield. Your thoughts?
I don't disagree with you on that. I just feel like when Christian McCaffrey came in week 7 last year, Debo did miss some time, and I think Ayuk got to shine a little bit. So I'm thinking we do see a little bit more from Ayuk next season. In the 6th round, I'm happy with him. I am taking him before Debo. That's a little bold, but I'm just wondering if Debo's going to lose the rushing upside that he had from before.
I'm starting to feel it a little bit with Debo. I don't know if anybody else is, he's in better shape. He was so pissed off about last year. I do
playoffs
think
run look good.
What's that?
His playoffs look good.
Yeah, well, his Brock Purdy looked good. I mean, he was Purdy's guy. You don't want to make too much of 4 games when they were all healthy, but
the question I would have is, you say you're starting to feel it. To what degree? To 2 years ago degree, or just better than last year degree?
Much better. I think 37th overall in a half PPR league. I'm in on that on Debo.
Okay.
Yeah, are you? Because you're not really a Debo guy.
For me, it's more what receivers are on the board at that point. Because I think once you get past the middle of round 3 to back into round 3, round 4, I think that's fine for him. Especially we're going to see again the receiver value pushed up so far. But it just bothers me when he gets drafted ahead of some guys I think that have more upside, and that's the issue.
But I guess what I would say, how could you say that somebody has more upside than a player who just had a 1,400-yard season and carries the ball 3-4 times a game? And you can, but that would be my rebuttal to that. Like, why does Christian Watson have more upside than Deebo Samuel?
Because I don't think the carries are going to be consistent, which is what we saw when McCaffrey joined the team in week 7. And I don't think he's going to get 1,400 yards. I think he's probably going to be a 1,200-yard guy, which is not bad. But, we're still talking about an offense that, we say this all the time. Somebody's going to get hurt because the history of the 49ers is somebody's going to get hurt. Well, what happens if they don't get hurt? What if we do get a full season of Ayuk and Kittle and McCaffrey? And then where does Debo end up? Still a very good player, and you're probably right. The better option for Brock Purdy than Ayuk and then Kittle. But I just think that we're going to continually chase that season of 2 years ago, and I just don't see it happening again.
All right, Dallas Goedert and Darren Waller come off the board here, so that makes George Kittle the last of that group of tight ends. Pacheco, it's your RB2 here. Joey, I know you said you like, you're not really feeling the dead zone anymore. Actually, before I ask you your question, Jamie, why don't you take us through your pick here? What are you thinking?
So I'm torn on 2 players, one being Kittle and the other being a running back. And do I want to take a 4th running back here where you could play them all, or do I want to take a tight end? So I'm going to take the running back here because I feel very confident that James Cook's going to have a breakout season, and I like the setup for him. And so while I miss out on Kittle and what his upside still is, even though he's not my favorite tight end in this tier, I still think that I can find somebody else that position. And as we've started to note, the running back position is getting thinned out pretty quick.
How do you guys feel about? Yeah, that was my question. You all answer it, but oh, come on, Victor, not a homer pick. I mean, if you want to believe preseason hype, believe Waller. But no, that's a good spot for him. I mean, round 7, especially when
I was debating Waller and Rachaad White.
Oh, in the previous round.
Yeah, I thought, let's see if he gets back to me. I forgot that I was picking with you.
No, I'm not really a Waller guy. I just thought that was a good spot.
Yeah, but you're a Giants guy.
So,
Joey, what's your favorite team? I know Tara's a Packers fan. What's your favorite team?
I'm a Buccaneers fan, sadly, for this point.
Rachaad White pick, yeah.
How do you feel about the running backs that are going to be available, in round 8 through 10 or something? Or do we still have – when are we done having players that don't make you just want to vomit?
Oh, there's a player that I absolutely love that hopefully doesn't get taken away from me, but I don't want to say who it is. But if someone drafts him, I will immediately start talking about him. So,
yeah, all right. Is it AJ?
There's a player that I'm just absolutely in love with.
Okay. It must be Chase Edmonds.
Little tease. It is not Chase Edmonds.
Tara, how do you feel about the running backs now? Any good ones left?
Yeah, there's one in particular, and I'm going to go ahead and take him here just because, again, it's thinning out a lot. Unfortunately, I've got to go with Rashad Penny. I feel like now is an appropriate time. I think we got our training camp answer that he at least is healthy. And that's the main concern there. We're also getting the news that DeAndre Swift is, lining up particularly to get a lot of receiving work. And Rashad Penny just really fits what the Eagles want to do. I'm not believing the rumors those random rumors that he was a potential cut candidate. He's a steal for them. He's, financially fantastic for them. And I think that they're going to get whatever they can out of him. And even if you only getting a portion of the season with him, I think it's worth it.
Jamie, I have some advice for you. When you create a YouTube identity, when it asks for your name, you're supposed to actually put your name there.
Oh, I'll keep that in mind next time. Next time.
But Jamie has a pretty interesting strategy. I mean, just hammering running backs, two like stud wide receivers, and then 4 running backs in his next 5 picks, and Justin Fields. It is I like it too. I mean, is this a strategy you use often? Wide receiver, and then just get a lot of running backs?
No, I mean, I don't think we've seen in our drafts, correct me if I'm wrong, Ramondre fall to, basically the middle of round 3. He's usually gone by the early part of round 3 or the end of round 2. I'm a big Dobbins fan, so I was thrilled to get him in round 5. Rashad White, again, I think has got, plenty of potential, probably better in full PPR than half or none, but I still think there's a lot of upside there with lack of competition for touches. And, I'm starting to fall in love with James Cook as well. So I think it just was playing the board, and there's still a lot of great wide receiver value coming up. There's still, some other players that I would still feel comfortable at the running back position as well. Also, so the way that you set up the league, this format with, two wide receivers as opposed to 3 and then 2 flexes, I could play all these guys, which is a huge plus.
Is anybody worried about the Dobbins situation? His status with the team right now?
No, I think we've got reached the point with running backs in general where they're coming back. Unfortunately for them.
All right, Tara takes George Kittle. Nice pick. There you go.
That value slide further. Wow. Yeah.
Jamie, I think that's exactly where I took him last week. And it was like, wow, Kittle really fell.
We're starting to see that. I think that's just the nature of where he's starting to live, which is going to be great value for somebody. My problem with Kittle is always that you're reaching for him, and we haven't seen that in our drafts, which is good.
All right, Tara and Joey, and I guess Jamie. We'll go Tara, then Joey, then Jamie. Fill in the blank. If I'm going to be weak at one position, I'd want it to be blank.
Tight end. I enjoy playing the waiver wire for tight ends and finding that little, those nice streamers and that one guy that's going to have a nice breakout season. So I'm okay with hunting for tight ends at the end of the draft and on waivers.
Joey, if I'm going to be weak at one position, I don't remember what I said. It should be blank.
I agree with tight end. Oh, I'm on deck. Wow. Yeah, I would agree with tight end. I think you can stream the position a little easier. Maybe you can stream wide receiver a little simpler, but I've gotten used to streaming tight end over the years because I never end up with Kelsey or Andrews. Oh, who took him? Oh, Heath. Sorry. I'm tilting big time right now.
Close.
But I'll talk about him. Did I curse? No? Okay, good.
No, I don't think so.
I usually do when that happens.
I was waiting to see if his guy went.
Yeah, I got asked the question. I think it was to distract me away from it happening. No, I'm absolutely in love with Samaje Perine this year as a football player. And, when he was in Cincinnati the last 3 seasons, if he has 10 or more total touches in a game, he averages 18.4 PPR fantasy points per game. And Sean Payton has a history in the last 6 years of giving his running backs his RB2, I should say, at least 11 touches per game. So even with Javonte on the field, I think Samaje Perine is going to definitely be involved there in Denver. And if Javonte struggles to get back, I think Samaje Perine in what did I get him? Well, I didn't get him.
You didn't get him.
In the 8th round
Your dream,
is great value.
Where did I get him?
All right.
I did not get him.
We got Damian Harris, Khalil Herbert, Antonio Gibson, Deshaun Watson. So we'll take a look at Rob's.
Are you okay, Adam? You don't have Deshaun Watson.
I'm quite all right. Yeah, I definitely need to have less. I like Khalil Herbert there. I mean, like a lot more than Gibson. And here's Brian Robinson. And all right, what do you think about Rob Thomas's team? McCaffrey, Andrews, Olave. I thought it would have been interesting if he had gone Allen there and he had RB1, or tight end 2, QB2. But McCaffrey, Andrews, Olave, Breece Hall, DJ Moore, Evans, Jahan Dotson, Watson. What do you think, Jamie?
I think it's a solid team. Rob's doing a great job typically in most of the drafts that he's done with us, and it's a lot of breakout potential. Especially if Hall is right. I think Olave is going to have a big season. Dotson's got the chance for a big season. You have the solid production of Mark Andrews at tight end. So yeah, I like this team a lot.
Tara, I want to ask you about two situations here. Metcalf being picked.
You're on the clock, by the way. You got 5 seconds.
Metcalf being picked 4 picks ahead of Lockett, and DeAndre Swift 4 picks ahead of your pick of Rashad Penny. So almost the same draft position for Metcalf and Lockett and the 2 Eagles running backs. Your thoughts?
On the DeAndre Swift one, I think that was good value for DeAndre Swift. I've been seeing people taking him a little bit earlier, not a lot earlier, but a little bit earlier over some of those guys taking the risks. So I think that's fine value. It's a little close for him and Penny. And then DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. That one is really interesting. I feel like the Tyler Lockett one was a little early. Now maybe that has something to do with the Seattle running back situation, as in they have none in theory right now. Right. And I know there's a lot of thought that maybe that means that if these injuries are serious to Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, that maybe that means that Seattle's going to have to push a little bit higher pass volume. But I get a little bit concerned taking Tyler Lockett there because even though he's been one of the most solid fantasy players, DK and Tyler Lockett have been incredibly steady in their roles and productive over the years. But you got to figure that the Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to play a little bit of a role at the very least in there to kind of throw a wrench in things. And if he really gets out there and, it turns out to be a very high upside play, there might be some inconsistency there where I feel uncomfortable taking him before guys who should have more innate volume, like Chris Godwin having more volume, Terry McLaurin being obviously safer pick as well.
Only 1 game in his last 12 with more than 68 yards for Tyler Lockett, including the postseason. I think the injury played a role in that because he came back and really struggled after the injury. But that's potentially an alarming stat for a guy who's 31 or will be 31 in September. Kind of what we used to see from Adam Thielen, where the yards were just not consistent enough. Who is the best Seahawks receiver value? Is it Metcalf? Let's see, 46th, Lockett 51st, or JSN in round 7?
I still think that it's Metcalf just because we know that he has that big play potential. So there's always a way for him to get his, and he always seems to get it. So it's still Metcalf for me, even though he has the highest ADP.
Joey, what do you think? Best Seahawk wide receiver value in this draft?
How far did Lockett go behind Metcalf?
4 picks.
I think it's still Metcalf. I've seen Lockett go quite a bit later than Metcalf, and then I'm usually fine with Lockett going, middle of round 5, round 6. So, yeah, it's a little early on Lockett for me.
But I did want to put JSN in there as well in round 7. So I hope, were you including him?
Yeah, I am. I
okay.
Not that I don't want to draft JSN. I think it's going to be a little bit slower of a come on for him. I think he's incredible, talented receiver. I just think there's a lot of mouths to feed right now.
All right. Let's see. Roland is in this draft. He had the 7th pick. He wants us to grade his team. Austin Eckler and Derrick Henry, Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy, Justin Herbert, Deontay Johnson, DeAndre Swift, David Njoku, Rashad Bateman. All right. I'm gonna go B+. B+. Jamie, grade that team. Team 7.
I'm with you. It might be an A. I mean, Herbert's got top 5 upside. Eckler and Henry is a great running back duo. Ridley and Jeudy both have amazing upside. DeAndre Swift, Deontay Johnson, those are good options to use at your flex spots. Njoku was probably the only question mark, but when you wait on tight end, that's kind of the guy you're looking at when you build a team like this. So I think Roland did a great job.
Tara, give it a grade.
A. I love the running backs. If you can get Derrick Henry as an RB2, even if it's in the 2nd round, you've already got a 1-up on your league mates. And then the wide receivers might seem riskier than they actually are. Overall, pairing adding up all those guys together, several bounce back candidates there. So I like it.
All right. Tara, you just took Jamison Williams and Cortland Sutton. What do you expect from Jamison Williams this year?
Wide receiver 2. I think that once he actually gets back, the big play value is going to be there. And Jared Goff has been such a stable presence at quarterback in that Lions offense. And although they've made the investments, obviously, into additional receiving, threats with getting Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. They've made some investments at defense to maybe help slow down so that offense doesn't have to push so much volume. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I still think they're going to be, a top 5 offensive team pushing extreme volume. And so wide receiver 2 for Jared Goff, if he's that consistent presence, I think that there's strong value there. So you're just going to have to wait it out there. But eventually when he comes on, we're going to get healthy Jamison Williams. And as long as he's doing his, preparations and the mental game is there, it could be a high upside pick that you're getting as a bench stash.
All right. Let's see what else we got here. If you have any questions in the chat, please fire away. 455 people here. We can get more likes than 130. And if we don't get more likes, then you're going to get that. Dave in the tub. So let's get some likes. Smash that like.
That should get us some likes right there.
It should, right? You'd think so.
I think so.
All right. Jamie is on the clock. And what are you going to do here, Jamie?
I'm taking another wide receiver. I was glad to see Nico Collins fall to me. There's a lot of, I think debate of who's going to be the best receiver in Houston. For me, it's Nico Collins to start. Wouldn't be surprised if Mechie or Nathaniel Tank Dell do pass him by the end of the season. But, Nico, I think, is the big play threat. I think he's going to be the one that you see CJ Stroud lean on early in the year. And I like the upside for him, especially in half PPR, where I think he'll lead them in touchdown.
I'm sorry. I really didn't even – I apologize. I didn't realize that you didn't have a quarterback, Joey. So talk about that and how you're feeling about that with Jared Goff. And let me just tell everybody the other quarterbacks who are on the board. We still have Dak, Cousins, Geno, Rodgers, Daniel Jones, etc. And you took Jared Goff.
I did take Jared Goff. My team's got some high upside, but a little risk there. So I took Goff. I was really safe with him last year. 21-3 touchdown to interception ratio at home. Like, let's go. I learned on a show that I listened to for like the last 11 years that just never reach for quarterback. Just make sure you're getting good value. So that's been my mantra ever since I really started playing fantasy football seriously. And something I've kind of adopted as a philosophy for myself is the quarterback tandem strategy, where I'll take 2 late quarterbacks. Outside of 2021, half of the top 12 fantasy quarterbacks come from outside that top 12 drafted. And you've got years where Patrick Mahomes is the 18th quarterback drafted and he finishes the number 1 quarterback. Now, those are outlier seasons, but you can really piece together a really good quarterback performance on your fantasy team by taking 2 of these mid-tier guys. Geno Smith was the QB5 last year and he went undrafted. So,
yeah, we're going to do our quarterbacks preview on Thursday, and I do wonder if our advice is going to be a little bit different this year. We'll find out. Are we going to say wait on quarterback? Or are we going to say prioritize it more? But you're in a good position, Joey, to take another one, right? So there's still really good ones. Right. I'm just a little surprised that you took Goff here. Why Goff over Dak?
I'm really worried about Dak with Mike McCarthy saying that he wants to run the ball more this year. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to be fine. And I'm not basing this decision off of that video of Dak throwing that duck in the air today that I saw. This is based solely off of what I've seen before today. Just a little worried that the production is not going to be there for Dak this year.
All right.
I will say, Joey, I 100% agree with you. Dak is someone who I will taking 0 shares of. I don't think the upside's there, unfortunately. You might as well take a swing at other late guys.
Yeah.
It does feel like more of a safe pick and not the upside pick. So who has the most upside of the quarterbacks who are left? So that would be Cousins, Dak, Geno, Rodgers, Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson. I'll even throw Kyler Murray in there.
I would say it's probably Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. And
Dave?
He's got Garrett Wilson there.
Jamie, who do you think is the most upside?
I think it's Daniel Jones. One of 9 quarterbacks in NFL history to go 3,000 yards passing and 700 yards rushing. The 700 seems like it could be replicated. If he can get to 3,500, and the touchdowns creep up a little bit, he did such a good job of limiting the turnovers. You give him Darren Waller. It's just what he does with his legs that separates him, I think, from these guys. So they all have upside in some way, shape, or form. Cousins is going to probably throw the ball the most. Geno's got another weapon to throw to. As Joey said, Aaron Rodgers. We've seen what happened when he's motivated, and I think that's the case. So they're all kind of there. But if you're just looking at what they do, Daniel Jones does something a little bit different. I think that helps.
Tara, how about you? Who's got the most upside of the remaining quarterbacks? Who should Joey pick right now?
Jamie said
I should have
everything that that I believe about Daniel Jones. So I just 100% co-sign all of that. I will say though, if you want to take a late stab at Kyler, I do believe that he's going to play at least by mid-season. I don't see any reality in which he willingly lets himself sit out the entire season and gives Arizona the option to say, do we want you or do we want to draft Caleb Williams?
Who starts first, Kyler Murray or Gardner Minshew?
Kyler.
Kyler.
Yeah, I'll say Kyler.
Me too. All right. One thing I'm seeing here should be
you're the new Heath. You love the Gardner Minshew.
If you want your handcuff, Elijah Mitchell went 1 pick before the McCaffrey manager was picking, and Tyler Algier went 2 picks before the Bijan Robinson manager was picking. So if you want your handcuff, get your handcuff. Are there any other handcuffs that are worth drafting?
Just a couple.
Yeah.
Who?
I mean, Jerome Ford, Jalen Warren.
Yeah.
Depending on how you view some of these guys. I mean, is Raheem Mostert still there? Singletary, Zamir White. I mean, there's a lot of them.
Well, I mean, look, it's for them to be worth drafting, they have to be good when they get the job. And I think a lot of times.
Are you new here?
No, I think we overrate handcuffs. I think a lot of
that's very true. But you asked who are the handcuffs? I
didn't say who are the handcuffs. I said who are the ones worth drafting.
A handful of the ones I just mentioned.
Elijah Mitchell is definitely worth drafting. I would say Algier. We've seen it. We know what he can be.
Well, I mean, then you're talking about systems, and is Algier that good, or did he just end up in the right place?
It doesn't matter. I mean, good for fantasy. We know.
So then I would say Jerome Ford and Jalen Warren certainly qualify.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. That was my question. You didn't need to insult me. Mighty Mouse, whatever you're wearing on your shirt. Who's on your shirt? Tom and Jerry?
Tom and Jerry. What's wrong with you?
Tom and Jerry. Come on. What are you, 80? Watch this Tom and Jerry.
Am I 80? Go watch Tom and Jerry. You'll laugh your ass off.
You need to watch Bluey, buddy.
Oh, Bluey's the best.
Isn't
Bandit Healer, Father of the Year. Let's go.
Bandit just makes me feel like such a bad dad. That's like, I have to remind myself he's a cartoon dog. He doesn't really.
Adam, I'm going to so we see 8 minutes of Bandit. Just that's all I'm going to say. Like, we don't see what happens for the other 23 hours and 52 minutes of the day. We only see 8 minutes of Bandit. So
he's
don't
drunk,
beat yourself too
yelling
much.
at his kids. All right, there goes Roshan Johnson, Jalen Warren, Jerick McKinnon. Oh, Jerick McKinnon.
Oh, Laporta.
Is Jerick McKinnon a handcuff, Tara, or is Jerick McKinnon a start-worthy player?
He's a start-worthy player. Now, granted, I do get a little bit concerned that with age, he might not be a start-worthy player early on. I think it might be something where they don't overuse him earlier in the season and then kind of ramp up towards the end of the season. So we might see a little bit more usage out of other running backs earlier on.
Adam, I appreciate you having Joey in this draft because Joey and I are doing a real draft on Saturday, and now I realize like if I want any of the Lions, I have to take them early because he's so excited about the Detroit guys.
That's what my father-in-law said before this. He's like, Jamie's he's gonna know what you're doing now. And I was like, was this the plan? Was this what's going? Like Jamie was the actual deep seed in this to get me on here so you can see what I'm gonna do.
Samaje Perine and every player from Detroit. I just now I know what to do.
Yeah. We do a mock draft show over at FYF and with my friend Jay Felicio. And our chat loves to get in there and draft Samaje Perine just to see me tilt. But Heath, I think someone was talking to Heath before the show.
Probably. Did you see? I was looking at the transcripts from Sean Payton today, and I tweeted out just a portion of what he said about Javonte Williams.
I did.
As a Samaje Perine guy, I'll share this with everybody else since you saw it. He said, "We still have to be mindful of his reps and understand that an ACL recovery is, quote, X amount of time. And they tell you it continues to heal into year 2. He went on to talk about how he's been, very good with his recovery. But he did say the offseason has had some guys' recovery quicker from that injury than others. So it sounds like they're happy with his recovery process. but they are still managing his reps in practice. And again, it sounds like Sean Payton is still mindful of it. So while we should be excited that he's back on the field, I'm with Joey. I'm still trying to draft as much Samaje Perine as possible. Very excited about his upside. And if there is some recurrence of the injury, then Samaje Perine could be like what we talked about, a league winner. So I don't think you should shy away from Perine. And this is one of those scenarios where, again, the news on Javonte, while very positive, has pushed down Samaje Perine probably a round or two. And that's just great for people like us who want to draft him.
All right. By the way, you're seeing on the spreadsheet 14 rounds. This is actually just a 13-round draft. We're not drafting kickers or DSTs. Jamie just took Kendry Miller. Let's see. Joey's on the clock now.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Thielen here, but I need to find him.
He's actually not
have it loaded.
on the Lions.
Yeah.
Try again.
Yeah, I found him.
Okay. I think Reynolds.
Why don't you back that up?
It said
Oh,
admin failed. I found him, I think, right as the clock expired.
all right. Thielen.
Yep. Boom. Wait, it took
Nope.
Cole Kmet.
Yeah, I sure did.
Oh, Joey. You messed up the draft. There we go.
Yeah, you sure did. All right. Let's. We're good. All right. Go for it. Take Thielen.
There we go.
And I'll take. I think Jerome Ford is a handcuff worth drafting. You know.
That's a good idea.
I don't know if anybody's said that. I'll claim that. And we had some good questions in the chat today. Rob, who's in the draft, said, "What's the best TV comedy series right now?"
Oh, man. I would have said The Righteous Gemstones until I was a little disappointed in this last season, to be honest. But before that, Gemstones was great.
I don't know that one. I do like. Well, I just try to start picking up What We Do in the Shadows again. It was pretty funny, the latest season. But I don't know. Jamie watches Seinfeld, so that's not current.
That's true. At 3:30 in the morning, I watched Seinfeld.
Tara, how about you? Any good comedy shows? Any series?
No, I'm the weirdest combination of an extreme reality TV show fan and then apparently nothing but dark TV shows.
All right, we got like
so
5
many
minutes.
dark TV shows.
We got 5 minutes left, Tara. We got to talk Scandival.
Oh,
yes.
I'll talk.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. You know, I got to tell you, I was sitting there, and I obviously like he's such a jerk, but I had a little bit of sympathy for him for most of that reunion because they were just yelling at him. And it's like, okay, he's not the first person to cheat on someone. He didn't kill anyone.
Yeah.
But then that last interview with Raquel, you see how diabolical and pathological Sandoval is. Oh man, I can't believe I even fell for it a little bit. What a scumbag.
It's
Yeah,
my wife got me
he's trash.
hooked this season.
Same.
It was so entertaining to see him get ripped apart by just like I guess that maybe it did end up being a comedy with the way that James and Lala just absolutely ripped him apart.
So that's the problem, though. I hate James and Lala, especially James.
Yeah.
James is such a loser. He's
really
such
is
a bad guy. And I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that. He's an egomaniac. I just don't like him. So I can't sit there and be like, yeah, go James, get him. Because I do not like James at all.
Yeah.
All right, well, this went off the rails. Let's talk about our teams. I guess we'll just go in order. I'll go first. I like my team. I like my first 3 picks a lot. The Madison pick might make or break the team. I was happy to get Khalil Herbert. I like Burks and Tony. I think that those are picks I'm happy about. And while I do like Waller, I do think it's a good idea to take 2 tight ends if you can get one late, like Greg Dulcich, a tight end with upside. I was going to take him or Dalton Kincaid, who went to Heath a few picks later. It's a good strategy when you just look at the amount of tight ends drafted late that end up being really, really good. You don't want to miss out on that. So unless I have Kelsey or Andrews, I'm probably taking the second tight end in most drafts. Overall, I'd give my team a B+. I think we can get it done. Joey, how would you rate your team? Team 4.
I think my wide receivers are really solid. I'm super happy with my first 4. For me, I've got 4 of my top 25 wide receivers, which is great. The one thing I wish I wouldn't have done revisionist history, TJ Hawkinson in the 5th, when I see Darren Waller went in the 7th, I don't want to say regret that pick, but I could have taken Dobbins there. I'd have been much happier with my team. Gibbs, I'm happy as my RB1, but my RB2, it's a little weak. But piecing together Pacheco, Harris, And listen, Dalvin Cook, if he ends up somewhere good, even if it's the Jets and Breece Hall slowly comes back, Dalvin Cook could be a good pick, at least to get me through the first 6 weeks. And then I can play the waiver wire a little bit with that. I am really happy with Jared Goff and Geno Smith as a quarterback tandem. And then 2 wide receivers that I like upside-wise, Adam Thielen and John Mechie. John Mechie might be my favorite story coming the NFL this year. He beat cancer, beats an ACL injury, and gets on the field. He could be the wide receiver 1 for the Texans. I guess we'll have to see. Nico Collins might beat him out for that. I'd give my team a B. I'm happy with it, but the running backs are a little weak.
What if Zamir White, the last pick of this draft, becomes one of the best picks of the draft? Not an unrealistic scenario. Jamie, I think it's so interesting that you and Joey started your team so similarly, wide receiver, running back, and then completely different after that. How do you feel your team turned out?
I like it. I think just based on how the draft unfolded, like I said, for the most part, I just played the board. Taking those running backs was not something that I anticipated, but, starting with the 2 receivers, Chase and Waddle, and then Stevenson in round 3, it just kind of fell that way, with Justin Fields, being a quarterback that I do like to draft, and I think he's got top 5 upside. So I like the way that the running backs are with the ability to play Rachaad White and James Cook. I like the 2 rookie running backs that I drafted in Tank Bigsby and Kendre Miller. I think those are lottery ticket type of guys. My reserve receivers are interesting. I did a little friendship strategy by taking 2 of the Chiefs guys. Hopefully one of them hit and maybe both do. But I think if one of those guys can become a go-to guy for Patrick Mahomes, we know what that means. So overall, I really like this team. I would take this team in almost any format, especially in this one.
All right, and Tara picking 11th. Missed the fun. Adam, Joey, Jamie, and then Tara. I guess just kind of sit there and chill. At pick 11, how did you think your team turned out?
I love it. I love my wide receivers. Stephon Diggs, I think, last year was obviously a disappointing season in terms of how it ended with the Josh Allen injury kind of tanking the production for Stephon Diggs. But when he was healthy for early portions of the season before that Josh Allen injury, Stephon Diggs was legitimately the overall wide receiver 1, scoring higher than, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, and the upside is really there. Now, his value is a lot closer tied to his quarterback than some of these other guys who are obviously very independent of their quarterback. If Kirk Cousins suffered, Justin Jefferson is still going to be Justin Jefferson. But I'm willing to take that risk with Stephon Diggs. He's someone who I feel very comfortable with as my wide receiver 1. Again, another upside swing with Keenan Allen and Christian Watson. When you look at what Keenan Allen did when he was finally healthy after that hamstring issue, he was fantastic. So I don't see a visible drop-off in his production. I know age is a concern, injury is a concern as well, but a healthy Keenan Allen is still fantastic. So as a wide receiver too, I think it's fine value. Christian Watson, again, I think I talked about him earlier. Yeah. The potential upside that he offers with Jordan Love and the boom-bust nature as your wide receiver 3, you can't beat it. Trevor Lawrence, my kind of cutoff area at quarterback. Cam Akers, I think, I talked about him earlier. The upside that he has in terms of being able to bounce back to a RB1, very high. I typically don't take George Kittle, but you can't beat that value. And then the later draft picks that I had as well, my reserves, good upside swings there and some solid handcuffs.
All right, everybody. Well, I want to thank all of you, Tara and Joey in particular, for being on the stream tonight. Other guy, you did great. and people are talking about the FFT Open right now in the chat on Thursday. It actually might be Wednesday night, so be on the lookout for that. I'll make an announcement on the podcast on Wednesday. $250 to join the FFT Open. 88 spots available. All the proceeds benefit St. Jude. And that's it for tonight's show. We have an auction that we're doing later this week on Thursday afternoon. You can be here at youtube.com/fantasyfootball today for that one. Have a great night, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow morning.